Hi everyone. Hi everyone. This is Subhani and I work for AWS. I have overall 18 years of experience and almost 5 years in AWS. So I'm a pure database guy. I have almost 13 plus years experience in DBA. Primary skill set is SQL Server. So the topic that I'm going to present here is most of the guys you know already. Am I audible now? Yeah, let's use my tone. Okay, so as everybody know this, you must have gone through this decks and the terminology and the title that security is very critical when you are handling with database, especially not from the application side, especially from the DB side. The reason why, because DB has all the information that you keep, so it needs to be more secured, not only from the app side, even where you deploy it, say for example OS perspective, from intruders and everybody. So as that said, so this is all about security. I'm not going to discuss like what extension that you need to go use and how you need to implement it, or what kind of functions that you have to use. I'll just try to enable you guys to understand from a different perspective how you need to see a security that you need to implement in your systems. So with that said, yeah, these are the topics that I would like to cover in this session. As I said, I'm not going to cover them. I'll just give a introduction about this, but just go through it. So I'll discuss about access controls with the real examples, and network and configurations, how you can control your networks and configure your secure protocols and data protection, encryption, in transit, at rest, and everything, and logging and monitoring, what you're going to log and how you're going to monitor it, and how you're going to alert that, and what's new in PG 18 with respect to security. So most of you guys, as I said, everybody know what is security. So let's go and do a deep dive just to understand what is security. I wanted to have next 15-20 minute session should be a interactive session, and I'll give some kind of a real scenarios to go through and deep dive to it. So can anyone tell me what is security? Not from DB perspective, anything that you wanted to share in terms of security.
It should not be stolen.
What? Can you please wait?
It should not be stolen.
Exactly. That is the motive behind that. Yeah. So we need to safeguard that. That is one point, one aspect. Another one? Anything else you would like to add? Okay. Next, what to secure? Do you know what to secure? Right. Exactly. And when to secure? At what times I need to secure? I need to prioritize, or I need to schedule some times only, in between business hours or off business hours I need to secure? Always, exactly. And to whom I need to report if something I have, a security threat or security incident? I should know, right? I am working in a 24/7 environment. I am just alone. On a fine day, I come across all these, incidents coming to me. I must be aware to whom I need to report and what I need to report and what is the action that I need to take. And apart from this, the big challenge is what am I missing? So not from a security perspective, try to understand. I'll give a real-time example so that you can try to correlate these things, and probably you can itself match how your environments are secured or what guardrails that you need to take care of that. So the real-time scenario is, say for example, I have two scenarios. So first I'll go this. So most of us, we go here and there doing our holiday season or something like that. So 2 days or 3 days we close, our homes, and everybody we go trip, and we safeguard our home. Now my whole discussion, I wanted to talk about that, how we going to safeguard our home when we are going outside. So first, what we do? Can anyone tell me the sequence? How we plan? Not the trip exactly. How we safeguard our home when we leave, when we are not in that premises. We lock our gates, we lock our doors, we try to keep cameras, CCTVs, try to make sure everything is connected, Wi-Fi. I can see my home, even I'm outside. And you put your cameras exactly the pinpoint location where your jewelry or money is located in your home. That's what you do, right? Or something else. You please, it should be interactive session. It's not like I'm just speaking and you're trying to listen. What? Right, exactly. And what else? From this side, I'm not able to hear anything. Guys, what you do normally when you leave a home? From security perspective, what do you do?
Make sure
Exactly.
valuables are safe.
Exactly.
Locker or
Exactly. So you're not available there. So you put some kind of a CCTV and you have access to internet and you see some, always, and you put alerts. If someone comes in, it will be, a kind of a motion alert and send notifications to your mobile. That's what you do, right? Normally. Until we don't satisfy, we tell our neighbors, please keep an eye on our home. Yes? So this is all about it. So it's very easy, and when it becomes to understand what we know about our systems. My intention is to bring that topic, like if I know my system very well, then I know how to safeguard it. I'm just thinking a DB perspective. I just want my data to be available to the application 24/7. That is my job. Then that it will never help you out. So how many of you guys know what is a DBA, full form of a DBA? Any DBAs are here? Okay. When it comes to a war zone, say for example, when a security incident happened, and when any incident happens, something like the data breach or something like that, the DBA full form will becomes to something else. Does anyone know that? A default blame acceptor. So application team will always tell to you guys saying that it's DBA problem, it's not my problem. They have given a full access to the login. They have opened their databases to public. That's the reason, whatever that incident happened. So try to understand that perspective. So imagine that in the war zone, that you don't know how to protect yourself because you don't know the guardrails that you have to put in your databases. So I wanted to just keep you informed that you need to understand what your system is exactly and who is coming in and who is going out. If it is an app or a third party that you install to monitor, say for example, we use a lot of third party applications, right? Datadog, a lot of applications in order to see what's coming in and alert us so that we can be aware of what's coming in and going out. Assume that you do not have anything in such place. So what you're going to do? Similarly, now you understand, now before 10 minutes what I was talking about, now you understand what is security with the examples that I have mentioned, and see what you need to secure. So when you don't know what you need to secure, then what you're going to put, what you're going to implement there, and what you're going to keep logging all that information, it's waste of use, right? And when to secure. This is very critical. It should be always. It's not like only business hours I'll do this. Off business hours I'll just close my systems, I'll close my security cams and everything, I'll go off. So that it doesn't work like that. And to whom to report? Say for example, I just know that there is an incident happened. I need to be aware that whom I need to report it, with what kind of information I need to report it. And next thing, apart from that, you're live there, what actions I need to take? I need to shut the system down, or I need to block that database, or I need to put that login itself to be disabled, or what I need to take care. So that is the key factor that you need to think of, and also you need to know what you're missing. Say for example, when you're leaving your home, right? You said you will just lock your doors and you put your very valuable things in your locker or somewhere else. You leave your fridge, you leave your bike, you leave your car, everything outside. So that is not bother you, because you think or you assume that no one will take that to you, take that from that place, or if it is being stolen also, that is not very important. You can get it one more, in the same way. So you need to understand what you're going to miss. You cannot secure everything. You need to know what you wanted to secure, what is very priority in terms of data, or in terms of any connectivity or something like that. So in that related, so probably you need to understand not only what you need to secure, and also you need to be aware what you are going to miss. So it should be very, very thoroughly written or documented, or have a process, so that you can go and visit not only a monthly basis, a quarterly basis, at a half yearly and yearly. You have to keep on rotating this, and you have to review your systems regularly. And second thing, I would like to, a real-time scenario, most of you heard about it. Anyone know what is the DR activity that we do in application or DB perspective? This side I wanted to focus because I'm getting a lot of answers from here. So anyone know what is a DR activity or DR drill normally?
Disaster reporting.
Right. What you do? What are the sequences of steps that we do normally from app or DB, whatever that? Just tell me the sequence. I just wanted to decode that. Okay. Assuming that primary is completely off, and we wanted to know how our DR systems are running. Right. Exactly. So we do simulate that everything, making sure that our DR becomes a primary, and we go and connect and we retrieve the data, we do all functional testing and everything, right? Does anyone heard or worked on security drill? Or anything happened in your applications or a database? Why? Okay. Anything happened such in your scenarios? Like any application is saying that we need to perform a security drill, or any DB or database team is coming to you saying that we wanted to go with a security drill from DB perspective, and you're part of it, or you have any information about it in your environments, in your projects. Why don't it happen? We don't have any idea about it exactly. It's not my cup of tea. We always think like that, but it's not like that. So you need to have similarly, like you perform from infra perspective, you do the DRS drill, right? Normally, you go, you make your primary servers manually go and interrupt them, and bringing the DR servers alive and try to connect them. And so this is all you wanted to prove that my DR system is ready to take anything that happens from the primary perspective is goes down. So my DR is ready available. So now coming to the security perspective, why don't we do that? So let's go back to your systems. I mean, when you're back and when you have a chance to talk with your leadership team, try to see how can you implement this. So first time you're going to face a lot of challenges, like what you need to, what is security from that perspective and what you need to secure. So you need to write down that from your DB perspective, data perspective I'm talking, not all the functional application stuff. So, and then you'll understand when to secure and then whom to report. So when you have this everything in place, probably when you do a DL drill, right, from a security perspective, you assume that, or you create an intrusion. Say for example, if there is a login or there is a restricted IP, and that's when you go and log in and access your database first. So whatever that you deploy from a security perspective, a security guardrail, so it will catch that, it should catch that, assuming that, and what it does, it should alert that. That is a to whom to report part. And what to report? The source details, the IP, the login that you have tried, and what actions that you need to take, whether it is allowed or not allowed. So that you need to say, for example, I'm connecting from it's a public application, I'm trying to connect from a different, from open source, I have a proper certificates that I need to connect. Then authentication, authorization, access will be done. So that kind of a security guards that you need to make sure and have in place, then probably your life will become very much easier from a security perspective. So try to have this in your place. I think whatever that I've said, no one has done that from a security perspective. Most of you guys have done a DR drill from an infra perspective, app perspective, but not from a data perspective or a breaching perspective. Say for example, you don't tell any a thief to come to your home, I wanted to perform some drill, right? It happens all of a sudden. For once it happens, that's it. Then everything will be vanished. So to avoid that, you must have a DR drill from a security perspective, and it's not only having the drill, make sure that whatever that you deploy in your systems, right, it's working as expected. So it should not be an ideal scenario that you have something in place but you never tested it, you don't know whether it is working or not. So every aspect of security, it needs to be thoroughly validated and properly tested before you deploy into any production systems. So that's when you're going to stop all these intrusions from a data perspective. Because what is a database? It's just a binaries from the behind the scenes from 0 and 1. But for application side, it's a very informative data, a customer's data, a PCA, PHI data. So yeah, I hope these are the two real-time scenarios that I wanted to bring it up so that you people can be aware like what you are going to do. And third real case would be, say for example, I have asked a question like when you're going out of your home, so you told me like how you're going to safeguard your home, right? Now I wanted to understand someone else is going out and they told you to secure your home, their home. So what you're going to do? You don't know their home. You don't know what is kept inside, and every object from your perspective is valuable. But when you're home, you decide you know much better. I don't need this item. This is very valuable for me. I'll keep my security or guardrails or CCTV only in front of these portion. So it will be secured. I at least know what's happening with that part of that home. But coming to the other's home, so we don't know what we treat. Each and every small object we treat with most valuable. We don't know what is important to them or what is precious to them. So think of it like a database as well. Even it's a small database, a small table, it's just having only 10 rows or 20 rows, it doesn't mean that way. It's like having a million rows in the table is equal to the normal empty table, or having a 10 rows in the table. So that you need to keep focus on and try to understand from a security perspective how, say for example, if I'm a thief, think that perspective, how can I come into that your systems and what data that I can take out. Say for example, if I breach this door, if I still come in, if everything is logged, I just visit and go. I don't have anything to take it out from here. So with that said, so probably you understand now what is security and what is you need to secure and when to secure, and mostly how to report, when to report, and what action you need to take care. And not only that, you need to also keep aware that what you're going to miss from the security point of view. So this should be properly listed, properly maintained, and you need to update your security, whoever that, the POCs or the teams that are taking care of, so that everyone will be aware of that, and they can take the corrective measures. And coming to the this side, so it's all about what you have discussed. So I just decided in a layer format. So how a thread comes to your database directly? It comes directly from somewhere to database, no, right? So how it comes directly? It comes from a network layer. Someone is accessing your network. First they will breach that. First they will it's nothing but they'll break your the gate, and then come in and then open your door, and then they see what is available inside that. And if something is focusing on there, and then say for example I've put my CCTV camera in front of an almirah, something where I kept my jewelry, definitely the person will go there and he'll try to open that, right? The similar way, so from a network, from a whole perspective, the breach will happen on the network side. So you need to maintain that. You need to just limit the IPs, or the siders, don't open it to the public networks especially, so that way you can control the network layer and encryption. If something is coming in, it should be encrypted. As I said, in transit. So in transit is nothing but when somebody is coming in. So when you are coming into AWS, right, you have been given some ID cards and you must return to them, right? It's nothing but, think of you are a transaction, you're still active transaction, no, right? So with that said, you have a special SID or DB ID or transaction ID with you. That is nothing but an ID card. It's still active with you. So when you're going out, you just leave it complete there, give it to them, so that both handshakes will happen, and then that's how you close the session. Similarly, when something coming in, you must encrypt that, so that it will be treated as a secure channel to come in. And third thing is important is access controls. What you're going to access, what they are going to access. You are going to access something from here, I need to secure it. I have cameras here. So similarly, from a connection perspective, how can he come in? Once he comes in, what he can access it. So that's where the 3 points comes in. One is authentication, authorization, and access. Authentication is nothing but this is whether a valid user or not. Understand from that perspective. Once this authentication is completed, it will just move forward to the another layer. That is nothing but access, authorization. I have authenticated this guy. Now I need to understand with this session or with this user what kind of access he has. He has a full access, he has a sysadmin access, he has just a read-only access, a read-write access. So based on that, what he is taking with that session, a query that comes in with only read permission or write permission, where that session, that user is having only read permission, but he's taking some queries along with a write permission. So what happens? It blocks that. It does not allow you to reach the data, and it will stop that. Similar way, and also storage, you can encrypt the storage, mask the data and everything. So these are all the access controls that you can perform. Row level security. There are a lot of protocols, as I said, in PostgreSQL, right? Normal DB engine. So that way you can control and you can try to minimize that incidents. And second thing is logging. What you need to log? You don't need to log everything, and you don't need to create a lot of lengthy logs, right? So basically you need to know what you need to log. And basically you need to touch base with your application team, say, hey, this is my application and it talks to this database. And in this table, I have these main primary 10 tables are there. Those are the very transaction tables. That's where the customer data, all the order information, everything sits in. So for me, a DBA perspective, I need to focus only on those 10 tables, try to configure what is coming in, what is trying to read, and also if any DDL commands are happening, say for example, table changes or any modifications, any deletions happens, I need to know, right? So that I can communicate back saying that, hey, this is the thing happened, someone deleted this table in the prod systems. Most of you come across, like say for example, when you're somebody is doing some task and they have full control ultimately, but they have deleted some tables and you do not have any backup or try to roll back that scenarios and everything. So to avoid that kind of a scenarios, probably this kind of controls logging definitely will help you out. And report. So once you have that, try to have a mechanism to report those scenarios instantaneously with the third-party tools or with kind of a functions, or so that you can be aware what's going on in your systems. You're handling 100 database servers. You cannot always see in front of you 100 monitors and see all the databases, right? So have some kind of an automation so that you can get all those reports. And after that, the action is very important. What you're going to take that action with that incident, whether you're going to ignore it or whether you're going to, if it's happening in the production, so how are you going to minimize that? So yeah, that's all about on a high level. And coming to access controls, as I said, a couple of points I would like to discuss here, like strong authentication method. So in Postgres 18 we have scram. So MD5 is nothing but a password related, so you can go and have that in your systems, so that it will be very secured. And role based access, so you can create some roles specific to read only, write only roles, so that you can control that sessions. And least privileges, just try to give, if you wanted to read, just read it. You wanted to write it, just write it. That's it. And always rotate your passwords, and don't hardcode the passwords. And as I said, in transit, you must encrypt the connections through SSL and TLS. And also you can use SSL verify full, so that it will validate everything from the connection perspective. And coming to remote access, you must allow only the IPs or the CIDRs that are, say for example, where the application is residing, not for the public. And coming to network and configurations, try to configure firewall rules wherever it is possible, so that on a network layer that I have discussed in the previous slide, that will be covered. And you're coming from a remote place and you're trying to access your database, so use SSH and VPN, so it will be, your communication will be very secured. No intruder will be, or middleman will be coming into that picture. And try to avoid the default ports that everybody knows. So probably when something is happening, so they will scan that port level. So 2222 is for SSH, and 1433 for SQL Server, 5432 for Postgres. So similarly, try to avoid those default mechanisms, and always make sure your OS and your database engines are up to date with the patches and everything, security patches. Data protection, so row level security, try to have that in place in productions especially. And role based access control, as I've said, create some rules, so that add those users specific to those users, so you understand who are the users and what they are doing it. And encrypt your connections, object permissions, take your regular backups of your data and encrypt them, not only data on the storage level layer as well. And also if you have any PCI data or data compliance related stuff, so you always mask your data. And yeah, regular update your Postgres SQL. And finally, this logging and monitoring, as I said, log what you need instead of logging everything from your systems. It will definitely occupy your space and everything, and you need to take a lot of time to go through all these logs. So try to capture and log what is needed. So you need to know from an application perspective what they are trying to use, and trying to update the data. Try to enable audits, so that if any connections that are coming in are successful or failed connections, so that they can be tracked. And have incident response planning. As I said, if something is reported, so have some kind of steps already involved. Assume that you're alone in your shift, a Sunday night, incident happened, and you don't know, you get panic, and you call your manager or somebody, right? So before that, you have some kind of a template ready. So if something is happening, what I need to do, steps to follow. I need to inform to these guys, or I need to do this step, or I need to inform to the management or a project team. So that way you can take the immediate action, instead of having a retrospective calls, and to avoid that situation. And yeah, as I said, what's new in PostgreSQL 18 is scram authentications and MFA stuff, and access control list from an object perspective. What you need to from granular level, I can go and visit what kind of permissions or data that the user is having access to. Some security updates to that libpq, and enhanced query cancellation. Say for example, if something is coming in as an intruder, so this will automatically block that transaction, and modern TLS support. Yeah, and some additional resources that you already know. This is from that's all I wanted to share here. So yeah, as a overall, just try to know what your systems are, and try to have some similar to a DR drill from a security perspective. So you will be aware, you will not be panic, and the guardrails that you need to implement and you need to go through. So that will really help your life easier. And don't become a DBA, that is default blame acceptor. Okay, be proactive, so that your systems will be much safer. Thank you guys, that's it for today. Yeah, any questions?
So regarding the data security.
Yeah.
So to overcome any, if you encrypt the data.
Yes.
The performance will be.
Yeah, overhead, definitely overhead.
So how do you avoid that?
Exactly. I'm going to tell you in a different way. With a real-time example. You're going out of your home. The same. I'm coming to that same topic, and you have a lot of valuables. You have to put some guardrails. You'll buy a CCTV. You'll buy a Wi-Fi. Why you're doing that, right? You're just trying to safeguard. So definitely there will be a overhead from not from a, what I can say the cost perspective, but it's very helpful to you so that you can in case of any security happen, so that will save your life. Not only your life. Assume that a company has some data, it has somebody has threatened, taken out that data. So how much the reputation, the cost they're going to lose. Not only that, some customers will definitely sue those companies in order to pay. So to avoid that, build secure systems, high performance systems in the prod systems, especially because in the prod data, right, we are not going to build the prod data for testing in lower environments, right? It's all dummy data there. So build your systems in such a way that whatever that overhead that's happening in terms of CPU, not in terms of memory, it will be there for sure. So in terms of CPU, to calculate, in order to encrypt and decrypt the data, a huge amount data, also consider that part when you're designing your production systems. That's what I said. And also you need to plan your security drills in order to have this. And when you do a performance testing, before you do all these production systems design and go live, right, this should be one of the tasks that you need to carry forward, so that you will be knowing that this task especially consuming how much of my space in my prod, so that you can design your systems accordingly. That definitely save your life for sure.
Have a SQL injection attack protection.
Yes.
PostgreSQL.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, I taken out that. Put it back. Yeah, that's what in Postgres 18, right? Enhanced SQL query. Yeah, so that will automatically do that when it try to identify that kind of a stream is coming up. So in SQL injection is nothing but a stream. A lot of requests coming in the backend systems trying to access one by one. It try to give a lot of permutations and combinations. That's how I plan, right? I'll not use one key to open my door. I when I don't know that, I'll give a lot of 10,000s or thousands of combinations all time at a time to my that ultimate target, so that it might be shut down, or it can, if it gets open, then I go and take it out. So that's what the Postgres 18 we have. Let me show that enhanced query cancellation from a security perspective. That's what it do. Anything else, guys?
I have a SQL statement.
Okay.
Which is having a credit card number.
Okay. PCI data. Okay.
So can I put that in a variable and push it to the SQL statement?
You can hash it, you can mask it, so that encryption and decryption will happen, and you have a strong communication encrypted channel, so that whatever that you're trying to achieve, right, from an application perspective, data will be in a cipher. It will be encrypted. Until unless you don't have a decrypt key to encrypt it, nothing will be taken out. Yeah, that's a tool that it have security updates, and what I call it as enhanced query cancellation security. That's when you have all these it will block from that perspective. But what I suggest from an application perspective, when you're reading or writing that data, right, try to mask it or try to cipher some values that you use, so that it will not be overhead to the server, and it will not be open to the world to come a middleman and steal the data. Yeah.
But adding to that, right, so we might get some cases where we have dynamic SQL creation, right? So there you need to, when we thought it would be only select, but they'll just say that colon and this add delete from. So I think that would be something, because we had some cases there.
Oracle has bind variables.
Right.
You have that out here?
Pass question.
I didn't catch the question.
In
what context?
Like I have a SQL statement and I'm passing some sensitive data to query from the database, like where credit card number is equal to a number.
Yeah.
So in Oracle I put the credit card number in a bind variable, and that bind variable is passed into the SQL statement rather than hard coding the.
Similar to Oracle.
More of an Oracle feature per se. It's a SQL 2016 standardization. So most of the database platforms, MySQL, Postgres, and
they have auto binding.
All of them have parameter binding.
Yeah, adding to that, it's kind of a variable parameterization that you're talking about, and those specific variable parameters you can do, and you can add those values apart from your query. So this will come along with that as a separate engine to that bogie, and it will carry forward with a separate parameterization that we call variable parameterization. That will definitely happen. So that will help you out. I hope the session was helpful.
Subhani, I guess the folks are taking a what do you call back step in asking question.
Okay.
But you seem to have a great knowledge about security.
Okay.
So what should be the top 5 or top 10 things a database engineer should look at when he or she logs into a system?
Yeah.
Whatever may be the version of Postgres, right? If you could.
It might be a Postgres or anything else from a data perspective.
RDS, Aruba, Azure, GCP, right? What are some of the 5 to 10 top things from a security standpoint the folks should take a good hard look at?
So, coming back to that question, yeah, this one. Yeah. So, do you know this? This is a slide I was talking about. So, you need to know what is security. So, security has said, nothing to do. You need to secure the data from a DB perspective and what to secure. So you need to understand what to secure. First of all, you have 100 of tables from your application DB using that from a database, and for them only one table is very much important. You try to secure the 99 tables and you leave the table, single table. It's not a scenario to discuss also. Yeah, you want to discuss something? You want to ask something? No, nothing. I thought you should speak on mic because thanks.
Again, just adding that security is always
Can you hear me?
shared responsibility.
Yeah.
Definitely, right? It's a
Definitely,
shared
it's a shared responsibility, and as I said,
Just
right,
say open to
the
public and you say it's not
DBA
secure.
terminology will definitely turn around when you don't have that guardrails. Yeah. So top 10 things I would say is first know your systems well. What you have, what you're going to maintain, what's in your hand. So first you need to understand that, and from security point of view, you need to understand what is important from application perspective. What is the table that they are going to use? List down all these tables and try to have some guardrails, like see what the DDLs are coming in, what tables are being deleted in their process, in their functions, so that you can capture those, and when something happened, right, you have an information that this process or this user is deleting something or doing something. There is always, we are humans, we don't build 100% correct systems, right? Do you agree that we build 100% correct systems, or we take 100% measures in from a security perspective? No, right? We do 99%, there is still 1% of a chance that we do. So that we call it as a bug. We don't name ourselves that, we did a mistake, or we left that out from our scope, and now we call it as a simple bug, okay? So to avoid that scenarios, to have that 1% calculation, make sure always you need to understand what is important from application perspective. You're DBA, you're a database guy, you're just making your data available to the applications all the time. That is not important. Important is how you're going to secure them, apart from being available the data to the applications all the time. So list down all the tables and see what's coming in and what's going out. And third thing would be as I said, right, what functions are, which users are having full access, try to minimize them, have a discussions with them, list down what exactly the access, create rules and try to bind with them so that they have, say, for example, if one application is just for reporting purpose, they just have a reporting, read access, right? So eliminate or remove whatever the additional access that they have. And other thing, I need to have all the security patches that latest to my releases with OS or DB perspective. And third thing would be I need to know what if an incident happened that I cannot control. At least I need to know whom I need to report and what actions I need to take care. So what should I do? So you need to have a list of the parameters or the list of action items, and then you can probably your life becomes easier from a reporting perspective. This is what happened. I have done this thing as secured or is formed as agreed. And fourth step would be as you do a DR drill, no one does a security drill, actual security drill. Like a thief comes in and I'm trying to see if something is catching up that or not. So have that security drills, try to intrude your systems on your own, create a dummy logins, trial accessing from your different systems, open source systems, and see whether whatever that the guardrails that you have implemented in your systems, whether they are catching it up or not. If they are not catching it up, that means you are not, pretty much enough to, implement the systems are not working, or you miss some loopholes. So try to implement them, try to test them with your, questions that you have in mind with your systems. And if it is working fine, if it is reporting fine, and what action that you need to take care, that also you need to list down. If you wanted to automate, you can automate this, but you need to have a lot of information about your systems in order to automate this. Say, for example, if some login, it should only have a read access, and it has dumps and some deletions also, table deletions and everything. And it has come up to my notice that it has alerted that, this user does not have a read access, but it has deleted something. So something has changed from a security perspective, from my scenario. So what I will do, I'll simply write a script to deny that or to disable that login for temp basis, so that people will come to me and see what's happening and what I have done. So supporting information, justification will be there. So that's how you need to have your systems in place and security guards in place, so that you can probably, eliminate those scenarios. And most important is always encrypt your connections, and don't open your database to open public all 00 siders and whatever it is. So specific IP, use the IP tables, provide a special IPs in your config tables, so that whatever the connections that are coming in, definitely they are, a known source that is trying to reach my database. And also SSL to be always use verify full, so that it can verify and use the certificates, so that the client can come and handshake with certificates, so that it can allow and get access to whatever it wants to. And most important thing I forgot to mention is cleanup and review. So we once implement this, but we never do any cleanups. When we never do any reviews. So as and when system and data grows, right, it becomes very hard to understand what we have in place, whether that is really important or not. So you keep on creating thousands of alarm. That doesn't mean like in the going forward or in the requirement that is not there. So probably you try to eliminate that and clean up your systems as much as possible on a quarterly basis or a half-yearly basis. It won't take much time, and then review what is requirement is. If the requirement changes, then you need to change your security guardrails and implement the new requirements that you have in your place. So with this said, so probably you can secure systems. Try to understand that each and every object or a single line of the data from the database is very important. So with that said, every data in the database should be secured. How you're going to secure? You have a lot of options. Think from a layered perspective. That's nothing but network encryption, access controls, logging, reporting. So these are all the mechanisms, different layers that you are going to secure. So whatever that in your hands that you can do, probably from a DB side, you can do that, so that you will not be in a soup to provide the sufficient data when what meetings happens or when any incident happens. I hope I have answered your question.
I'm asking on behalf of...
Then, yeah. So, any questions?
I'm to ask you a question.
Yeah, I understand. I've been seeing that. Yeah.
I have a question.
When you do TRT, right?
Yes.
You have steps to do that.
Yes.
You know what you are.
Yeah.
From security point of view,
Yeah.
on a database,
Yeah.
how do you do? What are steps? What are the activities?
Say, for example, good question that you need to, like you're talking about in practical sense, what you're going to do. Say you don't have any login, but you know the IP address or somewhat, right? At least assume that the third person who is sitting behind the scenes, that we don't know where he's coming from, he might have your IP address by you're using a default port or whatever it might be, okay? Different mechanisms of data. So that data has been reached to that guy and he's trying to access your system. He try to use a different name, maybe a different, assuming that your naming system is something like, production or XYZ customer. So you'll create some login and you'll try to introduce it, right? Someone has to come into your database and hit first, so that if he get authenticated, then he will go into the database, or else he'll just come out. So my question would be, when you do that on a first layer itself, authentication itself, will definitely fail, because you do not have a proper access credentials like username and password to login, right? That's when he gets rolled out. That's when your logging mechanism or implications or your security guardrails definitely will help you out to alert you that this is the alert that I have got from so and so source is trying to access this and this database or this server. That is the first repro that you can do from a different systems. and see your IP tables. What is the listed IPs that are there from a DB perspective? These are the IPs that can allow my database access. Try to do a same access from a different IP source. Just try to access it. So this kind of a real-time, scenarios, you need to think that, same way like when you leave your home, right? Same way, just think from a practical perspective and do that. So you define your what is required from your end, what is needed from your end, as I said, right? Definitely delete some table, create some table, dummy table, and assume that it is a very important table for you for that drill purpose, and delete it. Try to see if the alerting mechanism and logging mechanism, reporting mechanism, whether it is still active or not, whether it is able to catch that scenarios or not. If it is not catching up, then that is meaningless. That you whatever that you deployed so much, and it's just effortless, right? So it's meaningless. Then you need to go and deploy something else that you can work in that scenario. So probably that way you can mimic your scenarios and simulate your security drill. Like how we do, we shut down the primary server, we bring it up, make sure it is pingable, and yeah, this is the same way.
Thank you.
So my 2 cents on that, right? We are talking about mimicking stuff. I would mimic the pghp.conf file on the TR side, also plain and simple, and make sure your application is able to make those connections.
Yeah, wherever that you save your config files, right? It should be more secured with even the logs also. So that's what I said. Make your storage more secure, encrypt it. So that's when you will. If something is being stolen, then it's not a problem. They don't have any decryption key to decrypt that disk content. So that way you'll be always safe.
If anyone want to add any their personal experiences,
Yeah, definitely.
they are good.
If you come across any incident and that you want to
Condition
share,
supply should be a crisp. So I see most of the faces are sleepy, I think. Yeah. If anyone want to, yeah.
sure.
I just want
It
to.
should be like a,
Am I audible?
yes. It should be like a trailer, just don't mind. Yeah.
So just wanted to share one thing. First, I'll try to put it in your example only.
Yeah.
Most of the time, people, the most important thing in Postgres is we lock the book, we lock the front door, we lock the gate, but we forget to lock the terrace door, right? Which means in Postgres term, we forget to strengthen our local security. That something has to be taken care, right?
Yeah.
In most of the cases, customers that I have seen that people are keeping it as a trust by default, right? And something that which is not in our control, that is SSH access, then the network layer, right? So that can also harm in other way. So we have to think from that angle also.
That's what I said. Security is kind of a shared responsibility. It's not network. You're not going to handle that, right? You're just a DB guy. You're just taking care of your DB servers, and that's what I said. So everybody coming to picture. Everybody have to have a discussions when it comes to production. And this is what I have taken care, and this is what my guardrails for this layer. And from it DB side, you put that from your side. So it's all a collective information, collective a strength that you need to build, and then you need to test the same way. If you're going to report and take an action, so similarly it has to have that, and definitely have a real drill, something like security, as I said, right? Definitely it will let other people also know what it happens. And try to calculate the time response. That is very important. So how much time you have taken after an incident happens, right? So that will give you more information to minimize the time and how soon you can react, and you can control that situation to avoid any additional damage to your systems.
I think thanks for adding that. So just want to remind if anyone has missed to sign this. Okay,
I mean, to your point, what I would add is there is something called a CIS benchmarking, which covers a bit of network, which covers a bit of user management, which covers a bit of storage layers, security. That is a good starting point for any team, right? Like Subhani said, the collection of all the teams. If you have security as one of your prime responsibilities, right? Going with CIS benchmarking is a good starting point because that has almost all the gamut of things covered. The OS, your network, your user management, access, some of the extensions that you could have on the system. So every major version, so 18 is out in September last week. So for 18, there will be some enhanced CIS benchmarking unit checks that would come. So that's another cool piece that we can pick up. Again, the good point with CIS benchmarking is you have the entire Ansible playbook that you can just play on some of your PG18 environments or PG17 environments. That's another point we should take a good hard look at.